And then we got the cameras on, just so you know, right there.
Oh, okay, good.
Recording in five, four, three, two, one.
All right, check it out. Welcome to a Refrigerated Diaries. Hashtag what's your RD behind the food, keeping the people engaged with the food. Share your stories, videos, music, topics. Let people know what's going on in your diary. So we've been waiting for this. You know, I put the post out. We got a lot of positive energy around it. So we got our brother Paul, here with Tiva Capital.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm
Yes,
happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, I want to get started here, but first we definitely have to go into your diary. We're gonna do one of the stories. If you guys know, and our listeners, we do our most awkward food experience and our most excellent food experience here. No names, you know. We're not gonna dry snitch here. We're just telling it how it is. So let's go into it. Let's start with the excellent first. We'll do the awkward after the break.
Well, I would say the excellent is really the wow factor, the surprise factor. You know, when you go into a situation and your expectations are mismatched from what actually happens. To me, that's what is that that fire. So one of my clients, no names, they have a vegan restaurant, and I was pitching them, trying to get the business, and just background, I'm like the polar opposite of vegan. I don't know what that's called. Like if I was a dinosaur, I'd be one of those dinosaurs that just eats meat all the time, right? So I love
Carnivorous.
right, I'm a carnivore to the nth degree. But so vegan, just by that, is a distraction to me. But I was pitching the business, and you know how it goes. They were asking me, "Well, have you ever even tried our product?" And, oh yeah, I love your product. It's great. So they said, "Well, what's your favorite thing on the menu?" So I started stumbling, and they realized I was, disingenuous. So they sent me over to their restaurant, and I tried it, and I said, "Man, this is really good." I mean, it had a lot of flavor, and it made me think, just for that brief instant, that I could be vegan too. And then I, went home and had a steak. But it was a great experience, and I love the fact that that alternative is popping up all over the city, and it exposes you to something different. So I was really, really pleasantly surprised by the experience of knowing, going in there with certain expectation and coming out with just a totally open mind.
Yeah, no, that's solid. I mean, I was a vegetarian for about 5 years, and it wasn't until like you give up like Lent and things like that. I was already a vegetarian, and I remember, I'll never forget. I was at a pub. I was asking everything, like, can I get a pizza? Is there pepperoni on the pizza? I'm not trying to eat any meat. You got any like meatless sandwiches, things like that, right? Nothing comes up. So I'm like, yeah, what about clam chowder? Yeah, clam chowder. They're like, yeah, cool. So I'm like, eating the clam chowder, and I'm like, wow, like this is just such a salty chowder, you know. So I start to like feel like something chewy, and I'm like, man, what kind of fish is this? And then I pull it out. It's just a fat, like thick cut piece of bacon. And
So is
so,
that one of your pleasant opportunities, or you
oh
got
no, yeah, I'm like,
it's like,
what a part of all these questions like that didn't come up, you know. So let's talk about it. What, like, for the folks that don't know, what is Tiva Capital?
Tiva Capital? First of all, Tiva is spelled Tiva, and it's an acronym. It stands for thoughts, ideas, vision, and action. And it's a consulting service that helps entrepreneurs who have a desire, a dream, and they're trying to make it a scalable business. That's what we do. We go in and we do it from the financial side. My background is in investment banking. I'm an entrepreneur as well, serial entrepreneur, so I've always bounced between the two. And in my last venture, it was pretty successful. And
What did you do?
oh well, it has nothing to do with finance or food. I had a telecom company in West Africa, and we would chase around oil and gas companies and sell them connectivity amongst other things. And we grew it from 0 to 20 million in revenue over 6 or 7 years. So I started to learn how to scale up a business, what's required of the business, what's required of the systems, infrastructure, but more so what's required of you, the entrepreneur, as you transition from 0 to a million, million to 5, 5 to 10. Each step of the way, you have to reinvent yourself.
That's big numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's the same. In a way, it's the same thought process. When you're in startup mode, I call it cowboy mode. You're like doing everything, and you're just, wrestling down every hunt, and you're feeling good about life, but every day is a struggle. As you get bigger numbers, you have different issues, but it's still that same struggle. I mean, it's just like you're walking on a tightrope, except you just get higher and higher. So one day, when I first started, we were happy to have 10,000 in the account because that meant we could, make payroll for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then that became we need to have a couple million in the account because that's how our expenditures were. So it looks like big numbers, but as you grow into that mode, it's a natural evolution. But again, along the way, business owners have to make that conscientious step to go up there and increase their business, move it from a hustle to an actual business. And that's just a leap a lot of entrepreneurs don't always make. Yeah.
Right. You know what? I like that. You got to move it from a hustle, to an actual movement here. One of my biggest qualms that I've always had with like administrative services associated with like business dev is that the person on the other end hasn't really run a business, right? Like, like a lot of people got like a lot of advice on, oh, you need to do this for your business. Like, but like, what's your business? Like, where are you coming from? So I like that you have like an actual business that you've scaled and grown, you got dollars from, and now you're showing the reapplication of the model.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, I've had the failures to go along with it. So I have the scars. And that makes me, I think, a bit more empathetic than, like you said, your typical consultant who's come out of business school and they're looking at your margins and they're telling you that, what you need to change or how risky what you're doing is, but they've never been through that situation themselves. So they can't be too empathetic to what you're going through. So I always say that, in our business, we do it from the financial side. So there's 50-60% virtual CFO work that goes on, another 30% of financial coaching, and then 10% I'm a psychiatrist of small businesses. So I get those phone calls like, oh my God, what's going on? And for a small business, when you put everything you have into it, it's really like your family member, your child. It takes priority of so much stuff in your life, and having someone that you can talk to, that you can commiserate with is just as important as just knowing your numbers. So we try to fill that gap, and I love what I do, so it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. So when was Tiva founded?
Tiva was founded technically in 2017. August is when I registered it, but I just exited my my telecom space in Africa in the spring of that year, and I was looking for something to do, and I was just sort of hanging out, going to the summertime, so I was feeling good about life. And I was consulting with a couple small businesses, helping them scale up, just through recommendation, word of mouth. And it was still, like I said, it was just a hobby at that point. And at a certain point, I started running out of cash. And, my wife and I, we have some real estate investments. So I said, okay, honey, why don't we just sell one of the properties? And, and she said, no, you eat what you kill. So if you want to go out and drink and, whatever it is, then you need to go out there and make some money. You're not selling any assets. So it was good because it put me in startup mode again.
Yeah.
So Tiva was one, fueled by my passion to help small businesses, was always fueled by my desire to have a drink after work, right? So that was the genesis of it. Right, yeah, she's hardcore, man. She needs to be a financial manager. So I was working on it, sort of off and on throughout 2017. And then 18, I decided that it was time to scale it up. So I spent the year working on products and solutions that were very useful to small businesses. I had a full book of clients and started working with a lot of different mission-based lenders around town. And then late 2018, 2019, it was time to test out the product, and it was really time to scale up. So that's when I started hiring more people, taking real life decisions with
Yeah.
it. So now it's
Right. Right.
an
Right.
entity, and me, Godwin. Once I'm in it, I'm going to just jump all in. So now it's time to really
100%.
scale it. Right? Yeah, exactly. So, we're always looking for that wow factor, how to impress our clients by helping them understand their business to help their grow their business. But
Yeah.
our I would say our interests are directly parallel with our business, with the businesses we serve. So as you guys grow and are successful, we're successful.
Yeah, yep. And so for those of you that are new to this here, TV Capital really has been instrumental in putting together a lot of the reporting and forecasting tools and measures that we're using at Yum Village to kind of prospect. We do an open book management style, and with that, we really focus on keeping it very, very, very simple, easy to understand. And I know that a lot of times people get intimidated by that. But the reality is, if those numbers aren't positive and everything isn't healthy, then eventually what's going to happen, right? Cowboys, they shoot from the hip. You can't always hit when you shoot from the hip. You tend to miss more than you hit.
Absolutely.
So you about how many clients do you have in the city right now?
We have some clients that the recurring or residual clients that we service their virtual CFO.
Mm-hmm.
So we're over 10 in that space, and we also do transaction-based work. So clients who need a capital raise. I have one client that's looking to do an acquisition, so we work in that space as well. And then we work in turnaround situations. So any given point in time, we can be working on with our 10 solids and our transactional work. It can fluctuate between 15 and 20, but we're looking to grow that. At this point, as a small business, and your other listeners know that you grow your business, and then as soon as you start making money, you reinvest by hiring more people. So it's one of those things that you can't afford to, but you can't afford not to. But we're actively growing, we're actively hiring, and we're actively out there, looking for new clients to help. Because the more we can grow, the more we can do good and help the city.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'm glad about it, right? Like these are the growing pains. So here, at Yum Village, right? Like right now, we're not really our grand open. We're still going through our soft open right now. We're just now to a point where we're hiring people. That's right, we're hiring. If you need a job, come and holler. Say what's up. We'll say hi back. But the reality is we're structuring out the model so that we can afford to bring new people in. But it's a delicate situation because we can't bring more people in than we can afford to pay for. Like we don't have a cash surplus. That those types of things. And so, as a business, how do you actively navigate that properly? What are the steps that you take to successfully weather that? Because I kind of feel like when you're in a ship, it's like a rapid, like you're in a raft, like a wild rapid. There's rocks everywhere. Like one rock is like a surprise bill. Like another rock is now we have a full dumpster because people keep putting trash in their dumpster. Now you gotta pay for extra,
Right.
Who knows? Like the oven stopped working. like it could be anything.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I will take a detour and answer that. But let me just tell you, in my last business, like I said, it was IT telecom, and I don't know anything about IT or telecom, so it put me in a position where I had to hire early to deliver services that needed to be delivered, right? And why I say that? Because so many entrepreneurs, they start a business because it's what they love to do. And they end up pricing it out in a way that they just want to do the work, but they're not interested in making profit. They don't even value their own time. When I started my own business, I had to price my solutions out where I was able to pay a full staff of people and keep it running because I myself couldn't do it. Now on the other side, if I was an IT guy, I probably would charge half the price because I wouldn't be thinking about how much it would cost to pay someone else to do the work. I'm working for free because I enjoy the business. I'm growing the business. I'm just covering my costs. But many times, small business owners who started off doing something they love, they don't factor in what their time is worth. And you can't scale up. You can't build a viable business. And you certainly can't take yourself out of the picture unless your pricing and everything is put in place in a way that you can pay someone else to do your job and take over for you. And that's why so many business owners end up working in the business and not on the business. They're focused on doing everything from A to Z, and they're not pricing their services, their product, their solution in a way that they're able to bring on more people and grow it. So I say from day one, make sure you pay yourself. Make sure that you built that into your pricing model. And I'm not saying like from day one, take out everything you have and put in your pocket, but make sure you factor in that one day you should not be in that role. There should be someone else in that role, and your pricing should reflect, if I have to pay a CEO, this is what I'm going to have to pay him. If I'm going to pay a chief operating officer, so you start building your solutions around that and taking yourself out of the business gradually. Having said that, how quickly do you hire people? The first thing is making sure that your product sells and is something that works, and then you create a system around it, and then you're able to deliver it. So in your business, the first thing you did, and knowingly or not knowingly, was product development. You came up with your recipes. You knew what worked, and then you eventually hire cooks and servers and everybody else to fill the different roles. But you have to make sure you have a viable product and test it out. And then the next step is to create a system. So step one is the product. Your business is the product that you sell. That's what So Yum Village has a great selection of tasty dishes, and I'm saying it because I eat there. I love it. It's great food.
Appreciate it,
And but soon your business is not going to be the product. Your business is going to be the business model itself. How do you scale? How do you create systems? How do you consistently deliver that product in sites A, B, C, and D if you want to franchise? So you'll transition from how do you make good recipes to how do you create a systematic business model that's going to that's going to work across the board. So that may not have answered your question, but hopefully it was helpful.
It was. It's definitely on the walking path here. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the restaurant scene, get your take on just a financial and fiscal efficacy as it relates to the Detroit Pulse. We return on What's Your ID? That was popping.
It was good?
Yeah, absolutely.